Ace. Hate him.
Good morning. Who are we talking about, Joestar?
We'll never know.
You'll never know. I'm Roth Cornett. That's Dan Merle.
Hello.
Joestar is here. Roxy Stryer. And people, I think we are a divided Screen Junkies nation today. Yeah, I really think we are. Because the Hobbs and Shaw trailer came out and it blew Joe's lenses out.
We got so divisive about it. Roxy
Yeah,
punched me
we
in the
just
face.
Straight brawling.
That's
Broke
what
my
happened.
glasses.
Two of
While eating
us,
Fruit Loops.
I think, like this trailer, and two of us
Gut
have
punch.
other feelings. Fruit Loops, Stryer.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this.
Good
because
nickname that would be.
I'm
Probably
gonna
not
let
the
you
new one.
guys guess who Fruit Loops Stryer. Well, that's it. It's staying.
Yeah.
Who loved this trailer at this table and who didn't?
Who's guessing? Them?
Yeah, but I'll have no way of tracking it. Yeah,
I feel like we'll feel it in the air.
I feel like we'll feel it in there.
vibe.
You're assuming I did. You're right. Dan Merle.
Yeah. It's weird. Weird
know.
is my word for that trailer. Weird.
Okay.
Idris Elba's a mutant?
Yeah,
Now?
I'm pretty excited.
I'm pretty excited. It's Idris Elba running around straight up saying that he's the bad guy. That's right. On target. Embrace it. Live it. Love
Put the
it.
hat on
Own
a
it.
hat.
Enjoy
Idris
it.
Elba's enough on his own. You don't need to make him a
agree.
juggernaut.
But imagine if you did.
I'm the bad guy.
And then he was fighting a car. What then? Roxy Stryer.
it was so long.
It's very long.
Long
It just-
trailer.
Very
I
long.
I think that this movie will be exactly what I think it will be, and so therefore I will enjoy it the amount that I think I'll enjoy it. But what I don't understand is why this wasn't like boom, 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 done. It was like boom, 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 boom. Boom.
It's like
And
they're
then
on Shark
all of a
Tank.
sudden
They
it's
don't
like
know how to
7 minutes
close.
later. Yeah, and then they do like 3 post-credit scenes or whatever you call that in a trailer.
Was this the Return of the King of trailers?
Was it? Well, they did one button. They did one button,
It
but
didn't
they did
feel
do one.
that way.
Yeah, it felt
like
longer.
many buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Well,
kept
like,
thinking it was.
if
I
you'd
guess
ended
you're
on
right,
that
though.
trailer of The Rock jumping out
Yeah.
and like giving him the face and Jason Statham like bye-bye, I'm like, okay, great. And then they proceeded to play out the entire sequence that followed. It's
That's
like,
my
no,
favorite
I don't-
moment because he's not just giving him the face; he's saying something to him.
Not that when he jumps out,
Oh,
he like gives
got
him
it,
a
yeah.
face, and Jason Statham's like, and that's like okay, but then that like that's a funny face, and I'm like, oh okay, cool, bye, Hobbs and Shaw. No, then we proceed to see the next 7 beats in that action sequence. You don't
Also,
need to sell it that much.
Why do all action movies do this? I'm still so confused. Why does one person who is falling so much after the first person falling get to catch up to the first person every time?
The physics
It-
don't quite work.
Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's action movie physics in which I believe this is accurate. If you
He made himself an airplane.
hold your body, in this case it's an elevator, so okay, that doesn't track at all.
No.
But if you move the aerodynamics sometimes of how you actually hold your body, if 2 people jump out of a plane, could have one moving faster.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true,
It's-
but in action reality,
Somebody needs to teach us
it's
that
true.
in
Yeah.
case
Seems
we're in
like-
that situation.
I
Like,
call it
what do I do with my arms?
An Eddie Valiant scene, like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, when Eddie Valiant is falling, and then Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse just like
float.
descend next to him, and they speak for a minute,
Yeah.
and then it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, but this movie, and we talked about this. Thank you for bringing it up. And I said this the other day. This is Wile E. Coyote with cars going through buildings into other buildings, and then landing in an airplane that then skis down a pyramid. That's what it is. It's not supposed to be a realistic Joestar.
On one hand, I would have enjoyed the theatrical surprise that Idris Elba is Captain America-ing himself. Like, that would have been the horse people moment for Hobbs and Shaw, where I go, okay, I'm in. But yeah, they gave it to me in the trailer. That's fine. Yeah, I think this looks like The Rock and Jason Statham were like, what things did we like from the movies we were in that didn't work? What did we like from G.I. Joe that we want to redeem? What did we like from Transporter 17 that we want to redeem? And they just put it all in one thing, and they were like, David
Yes.
Leitch, fix this. And so I'm excited.
So David Leitch of Deadpool 2 and Atomic Blonde is the director. This comes out 7/26/19. Idris Elba points. A little sad I saw no Helen Mirren.
She'll be there.
She's there. They're
She'll
holding
be in
her
the
back.
next
I like
trailer,
that they
which will
didn't
be
hold
8 minutes
anything
long.
back in this trailer, but they held back Helen Mirren.
The one thing we're not going to
Maybe they're
give you.
saving her for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, this was the
Ooh.
Super Bowl spot, I think.
It's going to be even longer for the Super Bowl.
It cost $24 million.
God,
That's what they're
4-minute
showing on the
trailer
Super
for the
Bowl.
Super
No,
Bowl?
they got like a 30-second.
Yeah, a sizzle.
Yeah.
Maybe they spent $24 million. It is the Rock,
That'll like
Dan
sink
Merle.
the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Well, actually, that's studio. Maybe.
Yeah. God.
That's true.
I like Jason Statham and The Rock's dynamic. I just hope that they don't do this trailer. Really, I hope it was just to sell the trailer. This whole thing's like, you two aren't gonna like each other. Like, let them do their thing. I hope they don't try to force it, because when it becomes forced, I think is when it's gonna get a little grating. Whereas they have a good dynamic. Just let them do what they do. I hope they don't do too many machinations or try to be like, go you know, like don't go that
couple.
far.
Yeah. Well, they really shouldn't get along given their history, and that's sort of the
No,
magic. Like,
if somebody murdered my friend, I don't
Yeah.
care how many jail cell brawls I got into them, ending in mutual respect. I would not be friends with that person.
Dan,
Well,
how many times
they-
do I have to tell you? It was just business.
Yeah, but also
I didn't know you were friends.
Han technically wasn't friends. I'm like, we're gonna actually get into the lore. He wasn't technically. Han technically wasn't friends with Shaw. He was friends with the rest of them. So, but I think it's important to map the very fast track between villain and Corona, now Budweiser, that happens in this movie. Like, it just does happen really quickly. But they were the most charming part and the best part of the last Fast and the Furious. So I'm happy to see them together.
If somebody killed my friend's friends, I also would not be friends with that person.
Dan, how many
God,
times?
you're
I don't know if I'm friends with that
Forgiving.
many murderers. Just even if you killing strangers, I don't know that
I don't
many
think
of them.
I know any of
I
them.
know some of the
Oh,
If
people
I
think-
do,
hang
I
out
don't
with.
want to know who they are.
I
Yeah,
think you
okay.
know a couple. Statistically, I think we all meet at least 2 in our life.
Some in this room.
Where do you get these
Most
facts?
in this room. I make them up for the large part. All right, so I think that we're saying, yeah.
I like this cast. I like Roman Reigns coming in to play The Rock's brother. I think is a fun move. I hope it also means that guy is getting better and is now cancer-free. I like, what's her name? The woman playing Shaw's sister that's from Mission
The
Impossible.
blonde girl that looks like Yvette.
And she's in The Crown.
Yeah.
Sorry to put you on the spot like that. I think she's really cool. She has that just weird,
Vanessa Kirby?
Yes,
That's her name.
she has that weird it something where you constantly just kind of want to just pay attention
Yeah.
to her. She just has this really cool charisma on screen, so I'm really excited to see her in more stuff. Yeah, this will be fun.
She's really good.
Yeah.
We missed an important event yesterday because Dan and I were at the screening for Alita, and we weren't able to catch up on The Masked Singer. So I apologize for that.
I hope Alita was worth it.
It
was
wasn't.
not.
Definitely not.
Wow, I'm hearing such mixed things.
Oh, what are you hearing good things about?
On Twitter, so a lot of people were saying that it was really great, and then some people were saying that it was really not.
How sick did their tote bag look? Their Alita tote
I
bag
didn't see
on
the
the way
tote
out of the
bag.
screening.
Crap, I didn't
They
see
did not
it.
hand us tote bags.
Oh.
I can understand people liking it.
Yeah.
I mean, even in our review, we took great action.
Which you should
and
watch
There's a
on
lot of,
ScreenJunkies right now.
yeah.
It's a cool world. It looks great. There are some great. I like science fiction a lot, so there's some great world building opportunities. There's select moments between characters that really, really work, and it's gorgeous. It really looks fantastic. The technology is really impressive. Unfortunately, it's as a story, not a story. It's not a full story at all. It's like a prologue to a story. Literally,
they dark universed us.
No, yeah, worse.
Oh.
I think. What do you or about
No,
on par?
I mean the Alita fans are certainly out in force on our. I already my hand was on the table when everyone else's wasn't, so I already.
I'm
won.
already out. I lost.
Check the tape.
Rock, you're out too.
but,
Sorry, we didn't even know we were playing.
What's it called? Hot body?
Hands on hard
Hands
body.
on hard body.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
Are they
Alita
mad
fans.
at
Well,
us?
they're mad at us because they're like, well, if you knew the story, I'm like, well, I don't know the story, and that's the point. Is
It's a
I'm
movie,
happy
though.
that you know, but it's a movie, so
Yeah.
it's. I'm glad it works as a prologue for you, but
Yeah.
as somebody, like it's like, well, it was made for the fans. Like, well, okay, well then it wasn't made for me.
Yeah.
which is in hey, that's fine. And I
It's
think
fine,
that the
but
same
that's
thing.
If I don't understand it, then
Yeah.
it's not my problem. It's
Also, I think if
Yeah.
I was going to do any IP for the fans, it wouldn't be a pretty deep cut, like
Right.
culty anime manga. Like,
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
Sorry.
I mean,
rest of that
you could say that World of Warcraft was made for the fans too, and I think that's great. I think it's great when people get something that they love and enjoy. There's plenty of things that I love and enjoy that aren't for everybody. That's totally fine. But more importantly, The Masked Singer. I think we can all agree that's where our focus should
you
be
guys
today.
really disappointed me. I knew coming in that I was going to get a rundown and breakdown of what happened, and you didn't watch. So now I'm never going to know what happened on The Masked Singer.
No,
You're gonna know right now,
We're
Madam.
gonna tell you
Oh,
right
that's
now.
you guys couldn't watch.
No,
we
watched
missed
it.
it.
We weren't here
watched
yesterday
it.
to
We
recap.
We
it.
weren't
Oh.
here to recap
thank
it.
gosh.
Tragically.
I've got my
God.
notes.
Yeah,
I've got my
tragically.
notes
I was just
here.
really
Yeah.
disappointed, but now you're back.
Let's start with Unicorn. I think that's
Yeah.
probably where we should start. And the fact that we all knew it was Tori Spelling. And then for the last couple of weeks, I think it's pretty clear who Unicorn really was. I want to unpack a little bit about Unicorn's state of being. Let's put that aside. Ken also guessed who Unicorn was. Dan, how do we feel about
I'm
that?
getting really fed up with this show.
All right.
And I'll tell you why. Because I love the concept. And the first week was like a cornucopia. It's like, who could these people be? And they couldn't figure it out. Like, but for the second week in a row, I've started fast forwarding through the judges, because for the second week in a row, one of the judges correctly guessed who it was, which sucks because, again, this is not a show about the judges figuring this out. It's a show about us figuring it out. They got season 2. My season 2, no judges. It's useless.
They're pointless.
They're pointless. At best, they're a spoiler for the people watching at home for who it is. Secondly, I'm losing interest in the show too, because they've been so obvious with
About
the
who it
clues.
is. Yeah.
There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 people left, and I know for a fact who 4 of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even hard, because they've literally they
I've
put
toured
Ricky
a
Lake's,
spelling bee.
They
You're like,
put
oh,
Ricky
did
Lake's
you?
birth date on the screen.
And when the Indiana clue kind of gave away Alien.
Yeah, Alien. Well, if you go back and look at Alien,
Yeah.
like the clue that they gave away was literally like they were in this thing that only 7 other people were in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, so now I know exactly who Alien is. B is very obvious who B
clear.
is.
We've
Peacock has
known
been very
Peacock
obvious
for a while.
My suggestion for season 2, no clues. Or if you're gonna do clues, actually Mara had a great idea. If you're gonna do clues, it's like 2 truths and a lie, but it's instead you flip it. It's like, I'm gonna give you clues, but some of these clues are misleading, and like one of them is an
I feel
actual
like
clue.
Rabbit's doing that on his own.
A little bit, yeah. But
Which then is
Rabbit's-
weird if it's not a part of the structure of
Yeah.
the show. If someone's just freewheeling,
Right.
like, I just lied.
Or you could
Like-
extrapolate that Rabbit's just kind of an asshole, and
Yeah,
then that's a
and
clue
that's
in
the clue,
itself.
sure.
Yeah.
But
Then I do know which Backstreet
the
Boy it
whole
is.
point of the show is the mystery behind who's in the mask, and they
Yeah.
keep doing everything they can to spoil who it is before they unmask themselves. And like, I'm losing interest in the show because like they're just giving away who it is. Like, that's the fun of it.
I agree. I think the problem is that I believe, and I don't know this for sure, so if you know how the production is running, let me know, that they batch shot this like months ago.
Yeah.
And so now they couldn't have predicted how quickly the internet would figure all of this out.
Which is a dumb thing to not predict.
Which of course we did. We're the internet. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And so I feel like next year, let's pitch out ways that they can. I like 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
I think that they need to shorten the amount of time that people are on the show. So it's like two people are on it, and you're not voting based on how well they sing, because that's simply not fair.
That's
You're
also
having
very
people go professional Grammy-winning singers
Mm-hmm.
go up against Tori Spelling and saying what we're going to assess is how well you sing. That's dumb. So instead, how quickly does the audience, not the judges, the audience present figure out who that person is?
Mm-hmm.
The percentage of the audience that actually can identify who that person is, then they get unmasked at that show, and then you go on to the next one. But you have to get them out of there faster, much faster than they currently are, because you're just giving us too much time, too many weeks.
6 more weeks, 7.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna know who all people pretty much know.
We know who almost
all
all
of
of them
these
are.
people are.
Is it? Because I haven't watched an episode of this yet, and I obviously have to binge this now. But is there a winner?
There's
I think
like
there's
a
a
winner
winner
at the end of the
ultimately.
season.
Yeah,
So
I guess the last
one
person to
person-
take off their mask would be the
Yeah.
winner.
And there's
Yeah.
is at least one person still you don't know who it is.
Well, technically, we're not
There's-
supposed to know who 7 of them are, but
But you don't. It sounds like you
There's-
really don't know who Rabbit is.
I don't know exactly who
I don't
Rabbit
know,
is,
we
but it's down to
largely
like
know,
4.
Yeah, exactly. There's like 4
Joey
contenders for
Fatone.
Rabbit.
We think
yeah.
it's someone from NSYNC.
or a Backstreet.
I think it's a
probably
Backstreet because
NSYNC.
they just released an album and
Yeah,
they need the press.
Exactly. I
Maybe,
think that's why
yeah.
it's a Backstreet too. But this is the point. We should have no clue who Rabbit is.
Right?
We should have no clue who Rabbit is.
My suggestion
As a
is
society.
one, they should always, he doesn't need to be a judge, but they should just cut to Joel McHale sometimes in the audience because him just being like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done was like the most entertaining part of the show.
Yeah,
for me.
you missed a lot. But like Joel McHale that's the vibe it should be. It should be like, Robin Thicke up there like, well, I think that it's a great, like, no,
Yeah.
like, I don't care.
I've done
like,
some analysis.
I've
It's
done
like,
some
shut up, blurred
analysis.
lines.
I
Yeah.
want Joel McHale sitting there going like,
And everyone's
well, this
a
is the
model,
stupidest thing
by
I've
the
ever
way.
done.
Yeah.
The first guess Robin Thicke makes or anyone is
It's
that
a
it
model.
is some model. And then there was a certain point where Jenny McCarthy's like, we get it. You know a lot of models.
That's sorry. I have 3 things that I would fix. 2, who hires Jenny McCarthy? Like, go keep ruining communities by convincing them not to vaccinate people. Get off my television. I don't want to look at you.
I'd rather her be
I like
busy
that
doing this
Donnie's
show.
one of
Is that
them,
what Jenny
though.
McCarthy does?
I like that.
Yeah, she's like a horrible anti-vaxxer. She's the reason why measles exists.
Can we like all the way back? We're just
Yeah.
like in the timeline.
Yes, no, she invented them
Yeah.
during her run on
Measles.
Singled Out. She invented measles. But I do overall, the judges, they're pointless. And the need to keep including them makes the show feel weird. Like it's cut together so bizarrely because you have like a performance going on and like a weird mask thing is dancing, and then it just cuts to Nicole Scherzinger, and they'll just say they won't add, they'll just say something insane and pointless like, now that's a song, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Is it?
great, thank you.
Magic.
Wow.
Like sometimes it'll just be like a word, like they'll be going through the clues and like they'll just cut to a judge. It'll just go like
Magic.
songs.
Yeah. Do you think they
Thank
breathe
you.
air? And you're like,
Or this one was the one that killed me. So they showed a like Brooklyn pizza available here sign for Rabbit, and they go, I think he's a chef, and it's like Brooklyn was the clue. Brooklyn
Yeah.
was the clue. This
Yeah.
person is obviously from Brooklyn. Like, oh my god.
they'll be performing and it'll just cut to Jenny McCarthy like standing and not only just sort of like shuffle dancing, and she'll be like, this is a show that we're on. And you're like, thank you. You've really added to the show. It's so
narrative.
weird.
I have to
It's
get
so
into
weird.
this.
It's
I
yeah.
do.
So
it's
confused.
important.
Ken is the only one there that's like actually
Yeah, fun.
fun and trying to figure it out.
Ken
and
who?
Then
Ken
Ken
Jeong.
Jeong.
Oh,
Naps up.
yeah.
Ken Knapsack is on the show. But
When you guys
yeah,
were saying Ken Guest. I was like, wow, Knapsack watches this show too.
everyone else is just like. I'm opposite you, Joe. I would much rather Jenny McCarthy be sitting on a set trying to figure out who's dancing around in a peacock suit than getting people to not vaccinate their children.
That's true. Oh, you're right. You know what? Maybe
I'd
this
rather
is
keep her
distracting
occupied.
her from hurting people.
I would rather keep her occupied.
Yeah, no,
between
that's
the
fair.
two.
That is totally fair.
I like the
Give her
idea
something to
that
do.
Rabbit is her husband.
And she just doesn't know.
Yeah,
Donnie
Donnie
Wahlberg?
Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that she just
interesting.
doesn't know.
And then
former boy band.
That's true. Yeah. That would be fun.
That would be.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
And then he takes
Although
off
the
his mask
Brooklyn-
and he has measles.
Yeah, obviously the
Twist.
Brooklyn clue for any Wahlberg does not work
No.
because it would be Boston.
Boston.
Yeah, baby. Donnie lives on my street.
But I just like the idea that she just has no idea that it's her husband.
Yeah. That was because the celebrities are diminishing return too. Because the only interesting unmasking really has been Margaret Cho, because the fact that it was Ken Jeong's like close friend and co-star and he had no
Yeah.
idea was fun. But then when it's like Nick Cannon's like, oh my God, it's
Tori Spelling.
Tori Spelling.
I think they juiced the first week because when it was Antonio Brown, like that for me, that set such a great precedent for me. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, these could literally be anybody. Like he
Yeah.
is a huge NFL star. Like it could be an A-list movie star.
Yeah.
It could be anybody. Like wow. And then everyone since then, no offense,
Yeah.
but like Tommy Chong, Terry Bradshaw, Margaret Cho, Tori Spelling,
Yeah.
all wonderful talents, but like not starting
Yeah.
wide receiver,
Like, I know
fantasy first draft.
I know we know that
you
the Rabbit is a boy band guy, but it also just based on caliber and diminishing returns, it's probably the Trivago guy.
Yeah.
Like the Rabbit is probably going to take off the thing and be like, you need a good deal on a hotel? Like,
Yeah.
It's Mr. Obvious.
It's not gonna
Hello.
be JT, right?
No.
Like it's not gonna be that. But that's
It's
I
gonna be their
wonder,
manager.
which makes me. That would be amazing.
JT's
Which makes me wonder,
college
do you think it's
roommate.
fixed? Do you know what I mean? So, like, did his schedule only allow him to actually be
100%.
there that day?
I think they
100%.
knew
And
that.
so they had to unmask him that day.
I think they might have put their thumb on the scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I just
we
want
get a bone to
I just
pick
want the
with
game to
you.
be more pure.
Our love story with the Masked Singer came and went so quickly.
Well, it's
We
just
could
it's a
come back.
very simple concept, and all they do is keep adding layers of complication to it, and it's not just more complicated. It makes the game less fun because it gives you more of an ability to guess who it is. And like I understand that it's a difficult balance, but like they're just handing it to you. Like they're not
Look.
only handing it to you through the
Look what he
clues.
did. Look what
They're
he
handing
did.
it to you.
He just
I-
took his
I-
arm off
again,
the table.
I had my hand. Check the tape. My hand was on the table when no one else's was. Retroactively, I win.
I don't even know this.
They're
game.
not only handing it to you through the clues, but right before they unmask the singer, they are again revealing directly who it is at this point.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
I want to see the unedited shots of them trying to take the mask off. Just
Yeah.
the 25 minutes it takes for
like-
them to struggle a rabbit head off of their body.
Yeah.
Just from
And-
listening to you guys describe this, I have no idea what this show is. I
It's
don't
insane.
understand.
It's
I
insanity.
don't
I
used to be where you
understand.
were, and
Are they competing against each other?
Yes.
Question mark?
Everybody
I don't
on
know.
every episode?
So
No.
they basically just real quick, and then we have some fan questions that we're going to get to. We want to include you in
To
this
be fair,
conversation.
Joe put me on a clock last week, so I feel like we're making up for lost time.
We are, yeah. No, I apologize.
What
I did.
happened?
I did.
I was on a 2-minute time limit last week.
I thought it would be like a fun game if he had to put this whole conversation into,
Yeah.
and it backfired. It did not work. That was a bad call on my part.
Well, I'll make a different bad call. Real quick, it's basically the setup is I think you start with 6 and 6 different. You have Alien, obviously. You have Rabbit on one team.
Obviously.
Like
Yeah,
you've got Monster and Unicorn on the other, clearly, along with Peacock.
And so they're in a
Poodle
full-blown...
Full
They're
body, full
full
head.
Okay.
body head. Like they're actually really beautiful costumes, frankly.
Yeah, they are.
And they come out and they sing, and at the end of the show, the audience votes for one that needs to get their mask off.
They vote because they know who it is, or you
No.
It's
just...
supposed to be for the worst.
Worst
performance.
performance,
Oh.
but frankly, Monster clearly got robbed in week 1, so it's really
Yeah.
about who the audience is curious about. And then they bring those as those groups, separate groups, dwindle down. They're going to bring them together. So that's the Masked
show.
Singer. That's the show.
And as it continues, it starts to feel more and more like a Tim and Eric thing.
Yeah.
Where they'll just, because there's a crazy alien costume dancing and performing, and then it'll just do a hard zoom on a celebrity judge that's just like, I like coffee! And then it'll go back to the performance, and an audience member will be going, who is it? And it's
Yeah.
just the weirdest
There is
thing.
no more better, There's no better and more appropriate show for the oftentimes surreal world that we live in right now than the Masked Singer.
It
It's
is
the perfect show for this
it's
time.
Definitely a front row seat to End Days. Speaking of which, I'm going to ask us some questions. I want to get to some of your fan questions before it all catches on fire. Andrew asks, given the
I am the masked singer of that song.
Yeah.
You are. I vote you through. Andrew asks, given the exciting news about Lee Winnell directing a new Invisible Man film, what is your favorite classic Universal monster? Dracula. I've always liked vampires, and the reason is I read all the Anne Rice books.
Mm-hmm.
So separate vampire. I know, different
Puzzle piece.
vampire lore.
Yeah, but still a good Roth puzzle piece.
But
Big Anne
yes,
Rice fan, sure.
I like vampires more than say mummies because they're just more human, like they have more attributes. I mean, they're not, obviously they're monstrous. And then if you get into Nosferatu, it's really quite monstrous. But there's something about the idea of a being who is designed to seduce you into your own death and your own undoing. I don't know. That tracks for me. I just like...
I get it.
There's something about the angst of a vampire that I think as a young girl I found very appealing. And I'm not hater on Twilight, but I'm not talking about that kind of angst. I'm just like the weight of time plus Fright Night. Like I've always really liked vampires, so I would have to go with Dracula.
I think Frankenstein's monster had the best movies, but I love Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance as the Wolfman. Out of all the monsters, and I know Bela Lugosi, and there's a fantastic, but I love he is so sympathetic and sad and tortured in the movies that he's in, and the idea that you have no choice, you don't like being this monster, you don't relish being this monster, you have no, this is just going to happen to you, and it's the combination of the performance and just the horror of it. I don't think the Wolfman movies are the best movies, but I like that performance.
Yeah.
And that monster the best, because I think it's the most relatable.
Now I'm going to amend, because Frankenstein, the monster itself, I think is like, to me, the most iconic of the Universal monsters, and also maybe of what monster stories are fundamentally about, which is like to have you examine who is the monster and who isn't and why not. Ooh, splitting the vote.
I'm going to go... I've got to sort of go on which monster has my favorite Universal monster movies, and I got to go the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies.
Sure.
Like, I love them.
Yeah.
So I'll go Mummy. If you're talking purely Monster Squad, you gotta go Wolfman.
He has nards.
He has nards. He has a great death scene. He gets blown up, right? Like, they straight up like put a stick of dynamite in his body.
I think so.
Yeah, the people that wrote The Predator wrote that movie. But if I'm going Penny Dreadful, then maybe I go Josh Hartnett, Western Werewolf.
Oh, he was great.
He was excellent.
Fun.
The end.
I'm gonna go Mummy though. I'm gonna put my chips on the Mummy.
All right, we got a Mummy. What do we got?
Frankenstein's monster, definitely, without a doubt. Because that was the one, like, when Halloween time came, what I wanted to have playing in our window. And that's
cool.
how I judged what was the freakiest, as we did, like, my dad and I always used to do, like, the whole leaves outside, arm coming from the leaves, like bloody people, and then we'd had that tiny TV in the window that had the VHS player in it, and we would put that in black and white. It was all scary and creepy.
That's awesome.
Cool.
cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I would like to live in your neighborhood. That sounds delightful. I am going to take one from Alex, who asks, should deleted scenes found on Blu-rays of movies be considered part of the movie's plot or overall work? I know on the surface it's a weird question, but I think there's a point to be made for scenes that could have been cut because of studio interference. Okay. Interesting question, Alex. Dan, what do you think?
No, if they're presented as deleted scenes, then I would say no. I think that they can certainly inform the overall work. I think that they can be educational, but generally, I think unless a filmmaker, him or herself, has actually gone back and reconstructed a film using, like James Cameron did with Aliens, like Peter Jackson did with the extended cuts of The Lord of the Rings.
And Piranha 2.
Yes, and Piranha 2. I think those are separate works to me. I think that a theatrically released film is what it is, and then you can have different versions of it. But
and I think the studio interference too, for better or for worse, that's the final piece. Whether it's because the studio got involved or whatever, the final piece is the final.
Because the things that they added, definitely you consider as part of the movie, because it made it into the movie. So the things that they take away are not, like, it doesn't make sense to me that the deleted scenes, in order to understand what's going on in this world, in order for it to be canon, you would have to buy the DVD to watch the deleted scenes. I don't think that works. But yeah, I agree with you, Dan, that there's something about, like the Apocalypse Now Redux, which is totally different, and you add a lot of different stuff. It is a separate piece of work. I don't even think it's in the same, or like BBS extended cut or whatever it is. It completely changes the film. So
yeah, Kingdom of Heaven, I think, was one of the cases where it was so much was cut out. But that's not it wasn't deleted scenes. It was a re-edit of the movie that then recontextualized the plot. That's kind of a different, so a re-edit of a movie based on what a director actually wanted, the director's cut, I think is different than a deleted scene.
Agreed. I agree.
That just either way didn't make it back in.
But I think I like that sort of point Dan made of it inform. They can inform.
Yeah.
But they're I don't count 10,000 pages of notes from Tolkien as a necessary part of the read for Lord of the Rings, but it definitely informs the experience when you go back and reread it, fleshes things out for you more, lets you recontextualize. But is it part of Lord of the Rings? No.
Yeah. Or, I mean, like, in a similar, this is a very different vein, but there's people that are far more abreast of the lore of Star Wars than others.
Sure. Well,
So-
if you had read
but-
and you're like, well.
But you should be able to watch any one of those movies as just an audience member because
Yes.
that's its purpose, that's the format that it's in, and follow that story specifically in order for it to be really considered a successful film on its own.
Plus, deleted scenes oftentimes will contradict information or things that are either in that movie or if it's a franchise
Yeah.
in later films. So
Right, like an alternate ending.
Yeah.
What? Now
Yeah.
what? How is that part of the movie? Now we've got two completely different things.
Yeah.
I think you can pick a different version though that you like. Like I
Yeah.
think, for example, I think there's versions of Blade Runner out there that I don't think you can change the movie that came out in theaters, but I
Yeah.
can say like, but I prefer this version, or I like the extended cuts, or the ultimate edition of BVS is a different
Yeah.
movie, so I like that. But it's like a branch
It is.
instead of like one big tree,
We're all branches.
which also has branches. So none of that makes sense.
I tracked it. I
Bad
thought it
metaphor.
worked. I thought it worked.
What I'm saying is your Masked Singer character is a tree.
Yes, I am Groot.
This is an interesting one from Sar. Last year I saw Hereditary. My friend and I were the only ones in the theater, and it was great. Not great for Hereditary, but I'm glad you enjoy your experience. Yeah, I like that movie a lot, man. What would be the best movie to see completely alone in a theater with no one else there? Ooh.
My recent one that I thought of, I was told that if I remember being told that if I did not see Force Awakens, there was no point in me coming into work that day because that was all we were going to talk about, obviously. So there's like a small little like Lemley around the corner from me. So I just went to their 10 o'clock showing of Force Awakens on opening weekend, and I was the only person in it.
What?
On opening weekend?
Yeah, at the NoHo Lemley. It was like a Monday morning.
That
Well,
is
sorry, I guess the Monday morning after opening
shocking.
weekend. And it was
Wow.
just me. I sat in the back. I had a breakfast pretzel, and it was delightful.
What am I going to ask?
What did he put on it?
No, what's a breakfast pretzel?
Oh, it was just like I think my
It's
South
just a
is
pretzel
showing.
you
It's a
eat for
pretzel
breakfast.
covered in cinnamon and sugar, and I'm from Kentucky, so that's what
Oh, okay.
That's a
thought
candy
there was
bread
gonna be,
that
like,
you have in the
egg,
morning.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretzel
Yeah.
stuffed with like eggs and
Yeah,
cheese
that's my
and
question was
bacon.
what you put on it. It's very
Yeah.
similar to what is that?
Yeah, I was like into it.
Yeah.
Although if you wrap bacon around it, I would eat that too.
See,
Frankly, I would like one
it is
right
a
now.
southern thing. Is when you said breakfast pretzel, I was like, oh, like a cinnamon pretzel. Like
Yeah.
in my head, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what a breakfast
That's
I'm
pretzel
like
right.
candy toast. You're
East
like, you
Coast
popcorn.
Ralph and I had
Coast.
no idea what
Yeah.
we were talking
East
about.
Coast, you would have stuffed that pretzel with some
Cheese and egg and
cheese eggs and
bacon.
bacon.
No.
Get a little potato in there while you're at it. All right.
But that was a very nice viewing to sort of rediscover the relaunch of Star Wars completely on my own. And,
That is fun.
Yeah, that was nice.
Roxy, how about you?
I don't know if I have an answer to this because I guess just like one of your favorite movies of all time because you would want to be able to see it in theaters again and maybe enjoy the experience by yourself. But I like to go. I don't like sitting in an empty theater as much as I like sitting in a full theater. Otherwise, I kind of sit at home. Like
Yeah.
unless people are loud. Like yesterday when I saw the Lego Movie and nobody would shut up. It was so annoying. Unless people are loud, I really like being with the people. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any that I would rather see in a theater by myself.
See, because when I read that question, the only things that I can think of are like the movies that challenge you on like a deep existential level. And do you want to just stew in that by yourself and come out of that in a crisis? Maybe you do. Or a horror movie, and like, does it
Yeah,
add to
atmosphere.
the experience? It's kind of, if it's a horror movie that's riding on thrills. And sort of the thrill of the experience, the fun and the highs and lows. I want that with the theater. Is it Suspiria where it's more internal? I like being with people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
think there's
communal
I
part
like
of it
that
is
part.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
important.
so big. Maybe the movie like 2001.
Yeah.
Maybe
that could
it
be
just
cool,
might
kinda
enhance
cool
the
and
vastness
interesting.
of it a little bit,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah.
But wouldn't be my preferred method.
But I would walk out sad.
You know, you sort of bring up the horror
Yeah.
movie thing, and I do think that communal experience is important for that sort of. That's why I really enjoyed seeing Paranormal Activity in the theater
Yeah.
because I don't know if you remember that movie or not, but eventually they train you
Yeah.
where it's like timer speeds up, timer's slowing down. That means the bad things that happen, and it like the whole crowd. We were in a sold out theater, and this like Pavlovian response sort of starts to happen, where as soon as it slows down, as a group, everyone starts to go. And that was really cool, and it added to the dread, and it added to the creep factor of that
You
movie.
feel part of something.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But the question is asking, what do you want to see by yourself? But Sarah is saying that they went with a friend. So I feel like that would be completely different. Like, which movie would you
you
want
and
to
a
see
pal?
with one other
Yeah.
person? Because then, like, some kind of rom-com with your significant other, it'd be cool to see in a theater. Like, just the two of you guys holding hands, like, being all in love and stuff. Or, like, your best friend with a buddy cop movie or something like that.
Yeah.
If you're with one other person, it could be cool. But by myself, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. In the empty vastness of space,
There's only movie.
there is only rom-com. All right. We will ask. Oh, original caffeinator. Appreciated.
What are
thank
you
you for your
eating,
service.
drinking, by the way?
Don't do it. Say it.
Breakfast pretzel.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
what are
wish
you
it was-
eating, drinking?
I just
No, I'm
from
drinking
my
breakfast
angle,
pretzel.
I just see powder.
Me too.
Like
I see
brown
powder,
powder.
too. I
Well,
see-
that's cinnamon. It's cinnamon. Stop judging me.
Okay.
It
So-
is a breakfast pretzel remnant.
Yeah.
It's a coffee, and I just put a ton of cinnamon in it
Oh.
because I find that very tasty.
And the spoon's just to stir it.
Yeah, it's a knife because I couldn't find a spoon.
Or
There is a whole box of spoons. I'll show you where they are.
I see you play knifey spoony
Medieval.
before.
Oh,
Thank you,
good
Simpsons.
God. Oh my God. All right. I'm going to do this last one and then we will move on with our day. Original Caffeinator says, don't have a question. Just wanted to say thanks for helping me with my job. I work at a DVD Blu-ray distribution facility, so knowing how a movie performs in theaters lets me fairly accurately predict how many units will be moving when it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD. Your numbers keep me informed. Your shenanigans keep me amused. Thanks for the unintended work assist. Original Caffeinator.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank
That's a
you,
beautiful,
yes. Yeah.
loving message. Dan, your charts are doing some good in the world.
I feel like
More-
this is
more
a
than-
lot of pressure on the two of you now.
No, that's really on
Joe
Dan.
and I,
This
you're
is Dan.
welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shenanigans.
You're welcome.
You guys actually affect this guy's ability
That's
to do his
cool.
job well.
I think I reside somewhere in the middle of numbers and shenanigans, and then Dan, I would say,
You're
is firmly on
numbanigans.
the spectrum on numbers.
I'm glad I could assist.
Yeah.
Right,
with
right.
that. I would caution that sometimes it's not always tied to that, because there's a lot of movies that people will wait to see at home that might not go to the theaters. But I'm glad that I could be a bit somewhat of a compass.
Yeah.
I'm glad, original caffeinator. I hope it's helped you not have to be quite as caffeinated.
You say
Yeah.
wait like the walking machine. The beep wait. Did nobody else know?
Oh, the like the crosswalk. Wait. Wait.
Oh,
crosswalk walking
Yeah.
machine.
Walking machine.
I was
Wait.
like, a treadmill.
I was
Or
thinking
is it
pedometer.
or is it an elliptical?
I went
Walking
straight to
machine.
weird robot legs
Yeah,
from the
okay.
future.
Oh,
'cause
yeah?
That's my
Alright.
brain.
I like it.
But I hope
Crosswalk.
we have helped he or she do their job better
Yeah.
Yeah.
with numbers and shenanigans.
That is cool. It's my favorite kind of comment is when you're actually doing something good for somebody else. And
Yeah.
that's pretty cool that you guys do that.
Same. Very, very rarely. Those kind of things where people have said that you've had a positive impact on your life are the nicest thing to possibly read because then we imagine we have any kind of meaning.
And
Stock
isn't that
a
nice?
little extra on Bumblebee, like 10%.
Yeah.
That's because I think people are gonna want to see
I
it.
hope they do.
I agree with
Do you
that.
know who hasn't seen Bumblebee yet?
Joe Star.
Joe Starr.
And now I
You're
can
gonna
never
like
see
it.
it because
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything for the past 90 minutes.
Yeah. Joe Starr, our number one Transformers
sit there and
fan.
Am I
Hold
looking
it.
at the right camera?
I will hold your lens like a monocle in front of your eyes so you can see
Camera's over there.
Bumblebee.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being wonderful. We really, really, really value and appreciate you. That is the absolute from our hearts. True, true, true. I'll speak for all of us because I'm the one that's got the mic.
True.
We really, really, really do appreciate all of it, and we hope you have a great weekend. It's gonna be a good weekend, you guys. Something good's gonna happen for you.
Ooh.
Or not.